Everyone agrees content is important for business, and almost nobody builds operations required to actually sustain it. And that's why content starts in marketing and quietly dies in operations. In this video, I'm going to show you why most businesses struggle to make content consistently, especially video, and what actually needs to be in place for content to work as a real business function, not just a creative side project. I'm Matt Stone, and I do content system architecture, which simply what that means is I train leaders on clarity of message, and then I install systems and processes into their team to sustain content properly. So when I'm telling you about this, I'm telling you what I also teach my clients to do and how I train their teams and what roles need to be established in order to make the content process sustainable and therefore profitable. So content always starts in the marketing department, like the strategy of it. How is it going to grow the business? Like, should we do long form, short form content? Should we be on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, like all the other bajillion platforms that are out there? See, those are all strategic questions, and most companies do fine in that department. But the problem is content doesn't fail usually because the strategy is bad. Sometimes it fails because no one installs the operations required to support it, especially with video. Video is not like blogs, it's not like design, it's not like static assets. Video introduces people, energy, emotions, opinions, timing, and a lot of coordination. And here's the part that every company that I talk with just skips out on, or they just don't realize that it's a thing. As soon as you introduce video as a vehicle for your content to live inside of, it leaves the marketing department and now needs to go into operations. So here's where most teams get confused. They think their problem is we're not posting enough, but the real problem is we don't have the roles, systems, or clarity required to produce video consistently. And video cannot be fully replaced by AI, or at least not in the ways that actually grow a business. AI can generate clips. AI can create viral style edits, but what it cannot replace is the leader who has the energy that people are attracted to. And that's what create content that will actually grow the business and not just junk that gets out there to go viral. So here's the message, is that people don't connect with automations. They connect with the conviction, the values, and the perspectives that we can bring to the table as leaders, as thought-provoking people in our industries to bring upon change in whatever we're aiming to do. Which means, like it or not, someone inside the business has to show up. Every functional content operation starts with one non-negotiable role: the leader on camera. And that might be the founder, it might be an expert, it might be the face of the business, but someone has to carry the perspective, communicate the values, take positions, educate clearly, and do it without burning hours every week. And here's the part most people miss. If that leader is unclear, uncomfortable, or disconnected from their message, the entire operation slows down. Not emotionally, operationally. The editing stalls, the posting gets delays, the teammates hesitate, and content becomes fragile. And that's not a mindset issue, that's a leadership bottleneck. And a few symptoms, if you are this leader watching this message, is, hey, are you a 10 out of 10 speaker when you're in front of people live? Or if you're on a Zoom call, you can communicate super clearly, but when you hop in front of the camera, all of that enthusiasm that you have just leaves. Like, that is a issue that the leadership needs to solve because of one particular item coming up next. So once the leadership clarity exists, content becomes an operational problem, not a creative one. And this is where most companies break. To run video consistently, you need 5 core roles. Number 1 is the leader. The leader has the voice, the perspective, and the authority. Number 2 is the planner. What gets made, why, and when. Number 3 is whoever is filming the content. They're capturing content effectively. Maybe they can set up a studio space for you, but they're the one who's going to operate the camera most of the time, which is a very important role. Number 4 is the editor, turning the raw footage into usable assets. Now, the editor is a delicate one to pick. You can find a lot of good ones and a lot of bad ones. And then number 5 is the distributor. They're the ones who are posting, they're formatting, they're repurposing, and they're tracking the results. And here's the key insight, is that one person can hold multiple roles, but only if a system exists. Without a system, content depends on memory, reminders, and emotional energy, and that's when the content dies. So do you need a full staff of team members to do this? No. Is it better if each person owns a role specifically? Yes. But here's the trouble, is that most companies never build this operation because of a couple things. Too many people are involved and it gets very expensive. No one owns the system, standards don't exist, and leadership clarity was never installed first. And so without those systems and without the proper trainings for the team, the content becomes subjective, slow, draining, and very inconsistent. And if you're not enjoying it, or at least knowing how important it is, so you show up anyways, it's kind of like going to the gym. Sometimes we like working out. A lot of times we don't really want to do it. We just know we need it for the health of our physical being. Content is very much the same for the health of our business. So eventually content stops altogether. Not in like a blow up way, but just in a quiet, nobody wants to do it because it's a freaking headache. And this is exactly where creator mode lives, and that's my business. We don't start with posting schedules. We don't start with frameworks. We start with the leader. We clarify their voice, their positioning, how they show up on camera, how to communicate effectively without overthinking. And then we design the execution architecture around that clarity. So what I mean by that is the systems for the team to follow, the standards that they live by, the workflows, and the team training. What happens as a result of this is content does not rely upon motivation anymore, and it doesn't collapse when someone's not available. And also, it doesn't reset every month. It becomes infrastructure. Okay, that's my little ad, but back to the video. The goal of content is not consistency. The goal is compounding. So content should get easier over time. It should survive turnover. It should reduce the leadership involvement and support growth without constant oversight. And that only happens when content is treated as a business function and not just a creative side project that you get to when you can. So if you believe content matters and you already have a team or you're building one, and you're tired of content feeling heavier instead of lighter, that's the gap that creator mode fills. And this isn't about making more content, it's about building something that actually runs. If this reframed how you think about content, subscribe, like the video, and dive deeper, because this is how modern businesses really scale in today's world with content. So see you on the next one.